Welcome to the video. My name is Utkarsh. Today I will be talking about why I added rock climbing to my training to increase my gains. So let's get started. Quick caveat, this is not necessarily a technical assessment. It's more like a free-flowing, freestyle review of the activity, and it's my personal opinion, and hopefully it'll be fun for you to watch. So let's get started. So rock climbing is essentially, you know what rock climbing is, you just climb on rocks, but bouldering is an activity that essentially a type of rock climbing, but you do it without ropes. So there is real danger of falling and hurting yourself, except you don't hurt yourself if you're in a gym because you have these like cushiony mats where you can fall. So it's not that bad. You'll be okay. What is required to be a good boulderer? I would say it's pretty natural and intuitive as an activity, because I feel like when we grow up, we learn to climb. Generally, hopefully, there is a natural instinct in us. It's pretty quick to pick up. You don't need a lot of technical expertise to get started. The learning curve isn't huge, which is a big plus point because you can sort of get going really fast. So what do I love about bouldering? I would say the number one thing is that it is like solving puzzles, and it's like solving puzzles, but it's like solving puzzles physically. It involves both mind and body, and it's really, really fun. It attracts a lot of folks who like to solve puzzles, a lot of like engineers and people in tech and math folks, and I'm kind of generalizing. I feel like a lot of people probably find it very interesting. The second reason why it's so fun, why I love it, is because you can get good really fast. As I said, there's not a huge learning curve because it's so natural and instinctive. You can kind of get started really easily. You get that dopamine of like sort of knowing that you're making progress. So one thing to note there is you have levels. You have these rocks, and like essentially you use color, they're color coded, so you follow a certain color, and each color has like a level associated to it which corresponds to its difficulty. So it starts with V0, which is the easiest. Without having to learn a lot, you can get to V2, V3 pretty quickly, depending on where you are in your base level fitness. And you feel like you're making progress and you want to keep going, and so that's really addictive almost. The third reason I love bouldering is because it's a functional way of testing your strength and your fitness. Generally, like a lot of my friends, and I've had this experience where people come to me and say like they hate weightlifting, it's so boring. What I tell them is generally the problem is that they don't have it gamified. If they gamify it in a way where you can see that you're making progress, you're gonna get more dopamine and you're gonna want to progress. With that said, climbing or bouldering doesn't have that issue because you have levels defined for you, and essentially the whole thing is gamified in a way that it'll never get boring. Also, like sometimes you might think that with weightlifting, you can have some exercises might feel repetitive. With bouldering, you can, even within like say a V0 or V1, you'll have a ton of variety. You can have different types of climbs, so it really can cater to everyone, and you can find whatever appeals to you the most, which is kind of fun, and you can become good at it, and you can also branch out. That makes it never boring. The fourth reason why I love it is because it's a social activity. You go to a climbing gym and you will see a lot of people trying to solve these puzzles, and often all you have to say is like, hey, good job you, and like kind of give them a high five or something. You can quickly like bond over the puzzle you're trying to solve together, because sometimes you're not able to get something and the other person can maybe tell you, hey, I did this way, and then that might help you and you can help someone else. And so it's a really like social activity, and you can see a lot of people coming with their friends. Also, there's a huge thing it's so intense on your body that you need to rest, and so a lot of people are just like, they go for a climb and then they rest, and then in the rest you can kind of like just chill and hang, and so it's really nice for that social activity, making friends. So another reason that I really love bouldering is that you can get into this state of zone, and you can have your default mode network activated in your brain, and you can essentially be in a state where you're doing something, you're putting in effort, and you're not putting in effort also. Like it's kind of happening, right? Generally, the way that happens is like when you first start climbing, you put a lot of effort and you're like holding it really tight, but then you sort of like the rocks, and you're expending a lot of energy, and it's a lot of hard work. But then later, and this is true by the way of a lot of the sports, but you learn to like conserve your energy, and you try to like relax your grip, and you learn about this fluidity, and from that fluidity comes this sort of, oh, this is kind of nice, I'm just going with it. Yeah, it's hard, I'm present, and my body is activated, all my muscles, I can feel them, but it's also very different. It's like I'm not putting in too much effort. It's kind of happening naturally. And okay, next reason is it's very different than weight training. In weight training, you basically put on the weights and you sort of push yourself to failure, and you get sore, and the next day you come back. The thing with that is I found that you can't push yourself too much in bouldering, like, because the way you, first of all, you feel muscles after a first climb that you've never felt in weightlifting ever, like your forearms, like internally, and your shoulders, even your bicep tendons, and like, but it's also easy to push in a way that's counterproductive and can be detrimental to your physical well-being as well, because you can like agitate your muscles too much, especially in the smaller muscles that help you stabilize your body, because it's not, the climbing is not necessarily explosive, it's very controlled. So you have to practice being patient, and you have to get good at recovery. In fact, I would say that with climbing, the faster way of progress is not to push yourself too hard every session. It's not intensity, it's consistency, and it's spaced repetition. So if, like, I've gone climbing like once a week, and I've made very good progress just by the virtue that I'm not going, like, if I go 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, I'm gonna feel sore and unable to progress as fast. But if I give my body a break, I find that I'm able to do the thing that I was finding very difficult the previous week a lot easier. So Andrew Huberman talks about this, where if you can learn the ability to focus intensely versus also relax very deeply, that's the best way to learn something or improve yourself in something. So if you jump from one rock to the other, one by one, and you try to push yourself too much, you're gonna be super exhausted and you won't be able to like do anymore. And so this activity of bouldering really teaches you to calm yourself and use the relaxation periods effectively, and to really calm your body down so that you can really go again. And that's the key. And here we are, all the reasons why I love bouldering, and I think you should do it too. You know, it's really fun. If you have tried it before, I'm sure you liked it. If you didn't, give it another go. And if you've never tried it before, you know, I highly recommend it. Go with friends, it's really fun. And I hope you like this video. If you want more content like this, let me know. Hit a like and subscribe and comment. And in the link, you'll find more videos that are interesting and about interesting topics like this, so you will be able to check a lot more stuff. Right here, there's a box.